On May 20th in Las Vegas, we are going to witness a clash between two boxing superstars, Devin Haney and Vasiliy Lomachenko. Both fighters last fought in October of last year, and both were victorious. Devin Haney is coming off a dominating win against Camacho Jr., while Loma beat Jermaine Ortiz. Lomachenko! Both of the fighters are well appreciated in the boxing world, and both fighters deserve respect for taking the fight. And as much as I like the thought of two of the best fighters in the division fighting, it's hard to be extremely excited about this matchup. Even though both Loma and Haney won their last fights, one of them had a much easier time. Devin Haney fought George Camacho Jr. for the second time. When they fought for the first time, Haney controlled the majority of the fight with his jab and distance control, which led him to a unanimous decision victory. So in the second fight, Camacho made some adjustments in order to neutralize Haney's jab as much as possible. He moved his head a lot more, he used his footwork to confuse Haney with his movement, and to an extent, he was having some success with slipping the jab and landing counters of those same slips. But this just opened up Devin's full arsenal.
Another right hand from Haney, lands on Camacho's chin, great finish to this third round.
Haney was landing at will, and he showcased his full potential.
Anyone at 135, I can beat and give a hell of a fight. But this guy, he's smart. He just knows how to adapt. Like, I landed some great shots in round one. But here we go. This is ferocious. He's back, and he just knows how to adapt. He knows how to get on that jab. He knows how to move, and he's a great fighter. So I respect him a lot.
On the other hand, Lomachenko had some problems with Ortiz. He was never in danger of actually losing the fight, as he's obviously the far superior boxer, but most of the boxing world thought that this will be a much easier fight for the Ukrainian. Jermaine gave him problems. He utilized his size and reach really well, and when he put the pace on Lomachenko, he was often landing damaging shots. In the end, he had a hard time handling the rhythm of the fight in the championship rounds, and Lomachenko won by unanimous decision. After the fight, a large number of people were calling Lomachenko old and washed, but what they should have been saying is Jermaine Ortiz is an amazing boxer. He put up a great fight, and Lomachenko should be praised for beating a young, bigger guy such as Jermaine.
I was impressed by Ortiz, really. I didn't expect them. They must have studied my film of me facing Lomachenko for a while, so he did good, to that point, but it's the later rounds that you really got to focus on against Lomachenko, But I think overall, Jermaine Ortiz is still seasoned enough to give everybody else a bigger and better fights as well.
Why is it that I'm not that excited for their upcoming match? Well, mostly because it has a big chance of being a boring fight. Haney is the bigger man. He has the reach advantage, and he utilizes it perfectly. It's hard to get close to him and land clean shots. He will use his jab to keep Loma at bay, and if Loma gets in a position to land, Haney will initiate a clinch to slow down Vasiliy. He won't allow for this to be an exciting match. He will be smart, calculated, and composed to bring it home the easiest way possible. I also don't see either man getting the finish, and a boring decision is the most likely outcome of the fight. With Lomachenko being undersized for this matchup, it's a high possibility that he will end up losing. That's another reason the excitement is low for this matchup. I don't like seeing Loma losing. He's one of the most technically gifted offensive boxers we have ever seen, and it's a shame he's fighting a boxer who will most likely limit his technique and his talent. Not necessarily because Haney is the better boxer, but stylistically, Loma is a good matchup for the American. Lomachenko is simply undersized. I can't emphasize that enough. And even though I'm seeing Haney as the clear favorite, not all hope is lost for the Lomachenko fans. How does Lomachenko beat Devin Haney? As I previously mentioned, Haney's jab and distance control will be a huge factor in this fight. Loma has to find a way to neutralize that as much as possible. In his most recent loss, Loma started to get in the groove too little too late. He had problems with Lopez's size and power, but after adjusting in the second half of the fight, he was having huge success, and he was landing often. However, he lost as he gave too much space and freedom to Lopez at the start of the fight. He basically gave away those opening rounds.
There's a chance that it is 6-0.
Lomachenko right now needs to make some serious adjustments and work himself back into this fight.
To avoid that from happening in this fight, Lomachenko has to start doing what he does best as soon as possible. He needs to find a way to avoid Haney's jab and start countering off of that same punch. Vasiliy is a master at exploiting little mistakes and reading the opponent, but if he can't get past his opponent's jab, it's most likely he won't even get a chance at reading Devin Haney. He has to deserve Haney's respect in the opening rounds. However, that is much easier said than done, but Loma's footwork and head movement could open up a possibility of landing on the unbeaten American. Could age play a factor in the outcome of this match? Well, definitely. Lomachenko is 35 years old, while Haney is 11 years younger. You could say that Loma has the experience on his side, considering his amateur record, but Devin Haney has 10 more fights in the pros than Loma. When you've been fighting for championships for so long, being only 24 years of age doesn't really matter. It just shows how mentally prepared you are for the occasion. On the other hand, being 11 years younger also means that you are more physically prepared for the battle. It just means that you can gain massive improvements in a matter of months, while being 35 years of age usually means the opposite. Father Time is unbeaten, and Lomachenko is fully aware of that. He's getting slower every day. His reflexes are not as fast as they were a few years ago, and the process of rehabilitation is getting slower and harder. And even though those things are not that noticeable to the eyes of the watcher, in a professional boxing fight of this quality, every detail is important. It's hard to compete with up-and-coming young fighters who are hungry for success.
When you have a style like Loma, who's going to make the action, who's going to push the action, who's going to make things happen, who's going to come forward, and he's going to force you to throw at him, he's going to make you miss, and then he's going to make you pay. When you do, your timing has to be impeccable. Your reflexes have to be perfect. They have to be tuned up like a Ferrari race car. They got to be, when they're off just a little bit, bang.
I'm not saying I won't watch the fight, as I most definitely will. I'm just saying that the level of excitement is much lower than it should be. Their styles just don't work together well. The amount of skill of both men combined is through the roof, but that's never the only criterion for a great fight. The thought of Devin Haney safely controlling the fight for 12 rounds doesn't really excite me all that much. Could I be wrong? Sure, I actually hope I am wrong. I hope they will both showcase their hardly gained skills in a fun and exciting match. And even though this particular fight is not the most thrilling matchup in the world, I am very excited about the fact that we are getting great fights in recent times. The best are actually willing to fight the best, and that's something that gives me hope for the future. That's something that shows that this sport could go back to its former glory. And with all these young superstars, we are in for a treat.